Hi, I'm Donna R. Madden, author, book lover, and your host of Books, Banter, and Beyond, the podcast for everyone who believes in the power of stories, the people who create them, and the communities that celebrate them. Whether you're a reader, a writer, or someone who just loves everything bookish, this is your space. Welcome. Hey everyone, welcome in. I am Donna, your host with Books, Banter, and Beyond, and today I'm here with Vanessa, who runs Breezy Bookshop. Welcome, Vanessa. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for talking with me. Tell us about yourself and what you do.
Well, as you already said, I run a mobile bookstore, Breezy Bookshop. The store is actually named after my corgi, Bree. She was my inspiration. She's behind me, which I know you can't see. I'm pointing, but she's laying back there because she's my shadow. But yes, I am in Southwest Florida, specifically Charlotte County, Florida. And I have a day job. I work full time during the week. This is my weekend fun side gig, hopefully maybe one day becoming a little bit bigger. But yeah, I got my start because I love books, and I've been helping Emily, who you guys met previously, run the Cover Girls Book Club, which is a Discord book club. We've been running it for, I think, just over 2 years now, and our focus has always been on independent authors. We want to bring them in and get more information, help read their books, and get their names out there. And, as I was starting to grow my own collection, I was like, I need more space and I need more room to operate out of. I recently moved back home to Charlotte County from Nebraska, where I'd been living for a really long time. And even though I grew up here, this community has changed a lot since I actually lived here. So I really wanted to find a way to reconnect with my community, doing what I love. So I thought, well, let's give this a try. And I started out popping up underneath of 10 by 10 little tent spaces. And now I'm in a fully functional mobile bookstore with air conditioning. So I can't complain.
Oh, well, that's good. It's also good for the books. So, yeah. Okay. So you said that you started out with a 10 by 10.
Yeah.
Where's the type of places you set up?
So I was going to different vendor markets, farmers markets. My favorite one here is in Punta Gorda. It's every single Sunday at History Park. It's very lovely. It's one of those where you can kind of romanticize your morning because it's set in a garden. And so, it's just beautiful. And because we're in Florida, the garden's constantly in bloom. And it has a lot of vendors there. So I was just trying to find different vendor and craft shows and see what I could bring to the table and if it was even going to be successful.
Well, that sounds great. I know if I went, because I go to a lot of craft shows and vendor events, and when I see a mobile bookstore, I jump at it and I go into it. So that's really cool. And it makes it, because I'm an author, I love books, just the thought, I'm like, why didn't I think of doing that myself? That would be something
Never
else
too
on
late.
the plate.
Never too late, Donna.
I am a teacher and an author. I have to draw the line somewhere.
No more time.
Okay, so you explained what inspired you to open it. Your just love of books, right? How important is your local community to the success of your bookstore?
It's huge. It really is. I mean, your community is going to make or break a small business, whether it's a bookstore, a coffee shop, yoga, it doesn't matter. So the community knowing who I am and where I'm going to be and showing up, there's a lot of readers. There's a lot of authors in this area. So every time somebody shows up and starts to spread the word, it really helps get the motivation going. And I have people coming in saying, so-and-so shared a post about you on Facebook or on TikTok, and that's where I found you. So I decided to come in. Without that, I wouldn't be here. I have to have this community to keep running. So it's pretty fantastic. They do show up.
Well, good. And now you mentioned social media.
Yeah.
Do you market mainly through social media, or do you market in your local area?
Yes, I do market mainly through social media, but also in social media through my local area. So I will tag, either Port Charlotte or Punta Gorda, Venice, Northport, wherever I'm going to be. I always tag that location in my posts. And then usually I'll mention something about being in Southwest Florida, or again, specifically where I'm going to be. I'll hashtag it, I'll mention it, and then I share it within our local Charlotte County groups, Northport groups, wherever I'm going to be. I tell them, hey, this is where I'm showing up, and it does its work for me. I don't have to do much else.
Awesome.
Facebook's already created these groups.
Perfect. Okay, so here you are. You own this bookshop, this moped, and it looks adorable. What I can see, the few shelves. But what's a typical day look like for an indie bookstore owner? And I know this isn't your full-time job, but that even makes it harder.
It does. And I could really split that into two questions. What does it look like during the week versus the weekend? Because it's going to be completely different, really. So my job, I have to commute for. I have over a 2-hour commute a day, plus working an 8-hour job. Everybody gives me that look, Donna. Don't give me that look. Okay, side quest, little note here. My best friend today in Nebraska was like, how in the world do you even function? Because you're always so busy. Here it is. This is how I do it. So I literally roll out of bed like 30 minutes before I have to hit the road. Hence why I look like this every day. And one of the very first things that I do is I put out a video on TikTok, and then I share the same video. So I don't try to reinvent the wheel. So I'll make a TikTok video, and I will share that across all the platforms that I'm on. And then it'll sit there and run on its own until my first break. Usually by my first break, I get a 15-minute break at work. I'll have people sending me DMs or comments, mostly people saying, hey, I'm an indie author. This is what I do. So I try to answer as many people as I can. Same thing on my lunch break. I start going through and I start answering questions and interacting with people. I don't just stick to my own social media. I try to get on other people's pages. I'll, go through my friends list and cheer them on, or, give them, share out their videos. By the end of the day, when I'm home, I am recording a video for the next day. So I'll come into the trailer, or, do whatever I need to do to get some stuff. A lot, because I've been doing this, for a little bit now, almost a month now in the trailer, I've got a lot of just videos, what they call B-roll type videos that I just reuse. If you've watched some of my videos, you'll see, I've seen that before. It's because I can reuse some of that stuff, because you're not going to see my videos 100% of the time. So you're not watching every video. You're not always going to know. So I'm setting myself up for the next day. And then usually throughout the week, after dinner, if I have blind dates with books, I'll get those wrapped and ready to go. On the weekends, everything, thankfully, in the trailer, you can see I have tension rods set up. So I have everything already ready to go. I will then pull everything out and fill the shelves. So they don't look too full right now. But once I'm set up, I'm filling the shelves. It takes about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to set up, and a little less time than that to break down. So it's the weekends are my easiest part of this job. Because then I can just pull everything out, take a look at it, greet all the readers and discuss books, and then break it down and start again the next day. And then my week begins again on Monday.
Very neat. So the books you have, do you have a used book section, and do you also have new indie? What types of books can we find with you if we come into your trailer? Yeah,
so I don't have a dedicated used books section. Most of the used books that I'm going to have are going to be in with the blind dates with books. And that's a mix of new and used. So if they're used, they're very gently used. I get very picky about I don't want to see a bunch of dog ears. I don't want a lot of creases or sticky covers. I want to make sure that they're cleaned up and presentable. So you're going to get the used books there for sure. And then the new books that I throw in there, I always throw in at least one copy of an indie book. If that book sells, then I'll throw in another copy, because that's the whole point. I want the indie authors to be noticed and have their books read. And then some of my traditionally published books, if they come in from the publisher and are nicked on the spines, sometimes because, sometimes in shipping that doesn't always go well.
It happens.
If they don't look good, if they're a little dinged up, then I'm going to throw them into the blind dates with books as well.
Okay, so blind dates with a book. I know that is like all the rage right now.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It is all the rage. As a reader who's very picky about what book I'm reading next, that bothers me. I've tried. Yeah. But I'm like, but now, do you label the front the genre of the book?
I do, and see if I can get my tension rod off here. See if I can pull one out here. So yeah, I don't know if you can see this one on your camera, but I put the genre. Yeah. I put the
Fantasy.
Genre here. And then on the back side, I have a hint. And I've numbered it. So this is number 92. So if somebody reads the hint, and I'll read this one, and you can see if you can guess. A reluctant witch discovers a long-lost magical manuscript, drawing the attention of witches, vampires, and demons who will do anything to possess its secrets. Sound familiar?
No, because I don't read fantasy.
Okay. But somebody else who has is probably going to know just from that what it is. And then they can say, oh, is this whatever? And then I can look at number 92 and tell them yes or no. If somebody who hasn't read this book, they're not going to know. So, I don't want people to have to buy anything that they've already read. But then I also add like the spice level, the different tropes. So this is, witch and vampire romance, forbidden love, magical manuscripts, academic settings. And then a little. Okay,
so where do you get all that information without reading all the books? Like, how do you know what spice level that book is unless you've read it?
I have to do a lot of research. So I go through reviews. I go through Google reviews, not Google reviews. I'm sorry, Goodreads reviews, Amazon reviews. I might look it up. On TikTok, if somebody's made a review about it, or Reels, sometimes people will make a review about it. And then from there, I will also Google, hey, is this what spice level are we getting into on this? So I do a lot of research.
So you got me, and like I said, I'm trying to get into fantasy for some reasons, but you said all the things, witches, vampires, all these things, which spark my interest. What spice level is it?
It's a 3.
It's a 3.
It's a 3.
Now, if I was in Florida, I'd be like, hey, hold that book. I want it.
It's a 3. So it's not overtly spicy. It's kind of slow burn, but there is spice to it, but it's not like all the way. It's not like a dark romance 5 level spice. Yeah. Okay.
So when we're done with this, you're going to hang out, because I want to know what the title of the book is. Okay. We're not going to give it away here, because I want to have that whole purpose.
Yeah.
So outside of fantasy, what other types of genres do you usually have in your blind dates with a book?
Yeah. So I have romances, and that goes everywhere from sweet to dark. I have historical fiction, contemporary fiction, dystopians, and I think that, and I have some horror books in there as well.
Okay. And but you number them. That's how you know. I've always wondered, how are you going to know what I'm getting?
Yep, that's how I know
all the things. Very good. Yeah. All right, so we have blind dates with the books. We can go in there and we can get those. If I lived in Florida, I'd be there tomorrow. I'd be there right now. I'd be calling you on the phone.
We'd be recording this right here.
I'd be like, hey, all right. How can an indie author approach you about getting their books into your stores?
Yeah, so actually that has been a overwhelming thing for me, but in a good way. I'm not complaining at all. I have a lot of indie authors that will just simply message me. They find my website and they'll message me. Unfortunately, right now, because the responses become so big, it's hard to keep up with. So I do keep track, though. I keep all of the messages, and I try my best to at least tell them I see you, I hear you. I will circle back to you. So just reach out, just say, hey, this is what I have going on. And know that if you don't hear from me right away, you're going to hear from me eventually. If you show interest, I will circle back. It just may take some time.
Okay. That makes sense. But like you said, you have so many people. And I know I follow you on TikTok. And whenever you put it out there, and that's an issue, whenever anyone puts a post out there and says, hey, indie authors, bam, you get hit so hard.
Bam. I did not expect that.
Right. Well, I've stopped answering those posts. I'm like, they will never get to me. I'm not even answering those posts anymore. But anyway, because of the extreme amount of interest.
Yeah.
What will make you say, I want this book absolutely?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, because I'm sure at first you were probably like, oh, just give me the books.
Yes.
But now you've got to be a little bit pickier.
I do have to be a little pickier. So some of the things that I look for is I want to know that the author is excited about their own book. I want to see that you are promoting yourself and that you are passionate about what you're writing. Because if you're not excited, I can't get excited. That's, and if I can't get excited, then I can't get the readers excited. So that is one of the number one things. Are you trying to help yourself and promote yourself? And are you excited about what it is that you're writing? Another thing that I look for is reviews, and not because I'm looking for 5-star reviews. I'm not. What I'm looking for is that people are reading your book. As long as you have reviews coming in and that there's people reading it, I know the genres that I like, but I can't just stock what I like, right? So for example, I'm not really into political thrillers. Okay, that's just not my thing. But there's a whole lot of people out there that are. So if you come to me with a political thriller, which I don't know a whole lot about because I've tried to read one or two and I'm like, nope, not my jam. I'm going to go and I'm going to look at the reviews and just see, are people reading it? The one thing that I do pay attention to in the reviews, though, is if your readership are constantly talking about editing errors, loopholes, things that don't make sense, grammar that's not flowing, things like that, then I'm probably not going to go that direction, only because I want to bring stories that are going to keep people in the stories. And a lot of times if there's editing errors, it's going to put somebody out of the story, and I don't want that for my readership.
That's a good answer. Now, with the reviews, as an indie author, reviews are irritating because people, and I'm bad at this. People don't leave reviews. Yeah. It's like, I can't tell you the last time I left a review on a book, which irritates me because I'm like, Donna, you need to leave a review. You want people to leave reviews. And so like the number of reviews for authors, for the average indie author who doesn't have a huge publicist behind them, who's handing out 5,000 art books, art things. Sometimes we don't have a whole lot of reviews.
Right.
So are you looking at the number?
No, not necessarily the number. Okay. Yeah, more. And like I said, it doesn't have to be like, oh, this was the best book out there. And, this is on point with David Baldacci, or, it doesn't have to be like that. It's just simply, are people reading it? And if they are, even if it's a negative review, even if somebody says, I did not like this book, they still read it. The reason they didn't like it might have just simply been that they just didn't mesh with the storyline. Those types of reviews, I don't really care. I could care less if they liked or didn't like it, unless they're coming back and saying that they're consistently finding editing errors. Right. Taking the time to invest, you've got a book and it's your little baby and you want it to grow, right? And the best way to make it grow is to invest in it. And if you're not investing in it, and you don't have to have an editor, but at least read it and have a few people that will read it for you and listen to what they're saying. And it,
absolutely. Or find an editor that you can afford. There are very affordable editors out there. They're not all 1 cent a word. I've found that.
Correct.
Okay, so good. So we we're indie authors. we're interested, we contact you, you finally get back to us, and okay, I'm going to ask, do you judge books by their cover?
That's such a fun question. Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. I'm attracted to a beautiful cover.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. But again, for me, it comes back to, is the author excited about their book? Are people reading it? Do they have people that are going to be interested in it? I have a couple of books that I just giggle every time I put them out. I'm like, oh my God, like this is definitely not, every time I put it on the shelf, and I'm just laughing. And not because I'm making fun of the author, but because it's just, sometimes they're just funny looking covers to me. I don't know a better way to say that.
Well, then put those on a blind date with a book.
I have put a couple of them. I have, okay. and actually, one of them sold last week, and I was very excited for it because the story is such a fun story. It's a fun, fantastic story, but the cover. It's just needs a little help, I think, and it's sad that is just the reality, and I know that sounds harsh, but unfortunately, we live in a world where people are going to be attracted to what they're seeing, you know, on the shelf. If you look at where people's eyes are going when they walk in, they're drawn to the covers. That's the first thing that they're going to see. Absolutely. So, you know, but also, they're great stories, and I can sell that. I can sell a great story in spite of the cover.
Very good. Now, I walk into we're so off the list of questions. But I know. It's okay. I walk into your trailer.
Yeah.
And you have all these books in there. Do you have them separated by indie author, trad author, or are the indies mixed in with the trad, so no one will know what's an indie, what's a trad?
They are mixed in. But with that said, I don't have very many traditional books. Most of what I have, I would like 90% of my stock is going to be indie authors.
I love that.
Yeah.
So if people, here's the thing. If you've ever walked into a huge bookstore, we're not going to name them, okay? Yeah. A huge bookstore.
Yeah.
All those books are traditionally published. Most of those books, you've never heard of the author.
Yeah.
But you're going to buy it anyway.
Yep.
And so people need to go into your bookstore and think, these are all new authors to me. I'm going to find my next favorite author.
Yes.
Not downing, because indie author, it's hard. We do it all ourselves.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yep.
I love that. So what's your favorite genre?
My favorite genre is, I'm a fantasy girly.
Fantasy. I am. What kind of fantasy? Fantasy is huge. It's like saying I'm a romance. What kind of romance?
You know, okay, so that pendulum swings so far and wide for me. I grew up with a dad who was very much into The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and so those epic fantasies. And that really carried me throughout most of my childhood into my adulthood. And then I discovered, SJM and her, A Court of Thorn and Roses books, ACOTAR books, and there's really no going back from the romantasy for me. But I do tend sometimes to swing back towards those epic fantasies. So just depends on my mood.
Well, I'm in the middle of writing my 5th Orlinda Valley book. Yeah. And it's going to be done. And then I have 2 novellas to write in July. And then I'm putting my romance on the back burner for a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to start reading some fantasy for some reasons that I need to know. Ooh. So I'm going to be asking you because I need to start reading some. And I'm excited.
I have one for you. I have one right now. Okay. Right now that I can give you. You need to read S.E. Nielsen's The Curse of the Siren.
The Curse of the Siren.
Yes.
Awesome.
She's amazing. Right. I've got all kinds of recs for you, but yeah, she's one that I think is fantastic.
Okay. Well, I just wrote it down on my little notepad here. That is awesome. Okay. Here's a question. Outside of just stocking indie author books, how else do you support indie authors?
Oh man, that's a hard question. You don't have any idea how long I stared at that question because I don't feel like, no, that's wrong. It's not that I don't feel like I'm supportive. I just feel like right now I'm small change, right? And so the support that I give, sometimes I feel like, is this enough? Right.
Okay.
So looking at that question, it's hard for me because I don't feel as though I am supporting in ways that I could be because I'm I don't even have 2,000 followers. I think maybe just hit 2,000 followers. But I try to showcase who I have. Here in the trailer, when I set up, I try to face indie author books faced out. So those are the first things that people see. I get those videos. I try to tag the indie authors, especially if I sell their books. I'll tag and say, "Hey, I sold your book today," and try to give them a little shout. Obviously, just giving them recommendations when people come in and trying to say, hey, these are great authors. You should give them a chance. So, I try my best to just keep up with the social medias and then the tagging them and getting names out as best I can. But it's just, I feel like it's just not enough. Yeah.
Well, anything is enough. It is a start because, people ask me all because I do a lot. I'm always going somewhere doing stuff. In the summer, I'm really busy with getting my books out there. Yeah. And people ask me a lot, but why are you are you still doing this? I get that all the time. Are you still writing? Are you writing now? Yeah. Yes, I am. And I'm like, because even if I just go somewhere, a small coffee shop and set up and only sell five copies, I'm like, it only takes one person to fall in love with Orlinda Valley.
Yeah.
And they tell their friends, and then I skyrocket.
Yes. And that is so true. It is, you're not wrong there.
So every time you talk to a person about an indie author's book, even if it's just one person about this certain book, that's one person. If that person loves it, maybe they have 10,000 followers and you don't know that on one of their social media, that person can blow up.
It is very true. And I recently messaged EA Fortno. I have her Following the Snow series. It's a 4-book series. And somebody came in a few weeks ago and bought all 4 books. They were so excited. And so I took a picture of her with her friend behind her holding 2 and she's holding 2. And she was so overwhelmed. She said, "Oh my gosh, I'm almost in tears." And I look at her account and I think this is a woman who has so much confidence. If people aren't following her, they should be because she's hilarious. She's constantly out there doing the job and working it. And in my mind, I'm thinking this woman's probably selling books left and right like hotcakes, right? And so for a little tiny trailer in Southwest Florida to say, "Hey, I sold these books," and for her to have such an emotional response to that, that's what keeps me wanting to, push indie books and get the names out there and everything, because she's one of many authors.
Give her another shout out. What's her name?
E.A. Fortno. FORTNEAUX, I believe is how you spell her last name. FORTNEAUX. Yep.
Awesome. Well, there you go. And what does she write?
She writes a fantasy series. Following the Snow is the first one in the book. Yeah, Following the Snow.
Very good. See, there you go. You just helped her out. I love it. So we talked about different things indies can do to get in your store. Is there any misconceptions you think indie authors have when it comes to getting into?
I think that they think it's going to be harder than what it is. And maybe it is. I don't know, because I can't speak for other stores. But for me, I don't have the capacity to create contracts and set up different consignment style accounts because I don't have a way of tracking it. I'm doing everything on my phone because I'm out and about. I don't have internet to, you get what I'm saying. Yeah. So for me, it's just as easy as an author saying that they're going to be willing to sell at a wholesale cost. And if they have a wholesale link on their website, even better. That makes it even easier. As an example, T.L. Combs, she's a children's author, and she also has other romance books out. She has a couple of children's books out, but I needed children's books, and I was on TikTok a few weeks ago, and I'm just scrolling through my friends, and she had a video that had little thumbnails of all of the books that she'd written. And of all of these romance books that she had, I noticed one little book that looked like it had a cartoon dog on it. And I was curious, and I said, what the heck is that? And I went, sure enough, it was a children's book. And sure enough, she had a wholesale link on her website. I messaged her and said, hey, I just placed an order, and it was as simple as that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
A wholesale link on the website. It's interesting.
I see your wheels turning.
Yes. I'm like, that makes it easy.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to ask, after an author reaches out to you and you talk to them and say, okay, I want your books. So what do you, I guess you would just answer my next question. You don't do consignment. Which is, in my opinion, good. I'm trying to get out of all my consignment agreements. Yeah. And so you prefer wholesale?
I do. Yes. Okay. Yes, I do. It's just easier that way. It's easier because I can pay attention, I guess, more to what how do I word this? I can't always keep track of what people want to put in the shop. And so if I've already purchased it at a wholesale cost, then I don't have to worry about getting back to somebody and repaying them. And if for whatever reason, heaven forbid, something happens to the trailer, we're out somewhere and somebody hits it, I would be responsible, for everything that's already in here, whereas I still am, but I've already paid for it. So,
right.
Yeah.
And as someone who has done consignment and is now doing wholesale, consignment is, for a while there, like a couple years ago, the small bookstores would take as many books as you wanted to give on consignment because it was nothing out of their pocket until they sold it.
Yeah.
And so there were so many books that were being sold that these bookstore owners really didn't know anything about. I'm just helping indie authors. I'm going to, consign their book here, but I'm not going to push them. But, if someone wants it. And so I've noticed when the owners choose to wholesale, our books are treated like everybody else's books.
Absolutely. As they should be.
Right.
As they should be.
And so I want any indie authors hearing this to realize that.
Yes.
And as an indie author, it's much easier to know, what, you purchased because you have some of my books, the older covers, but you have them. Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice to know that you purchased my books. I don't have to worry about, did you sell any?
Following up. Yeah. With my full-time job, it's already hard enough keeping up with the inquiries coming in. I don't have the time to constantly be going back and forth with, hey, if I sell an indie book, you better believe I'm going to take a picture of it. I'm going to have that smiling customer holding it. I'm going to do everything I can to come back onto TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and tag you in it because I want people to see that your books are moving. I'll do the work, but I don't want to have to follow up all the time.
Very good. All right. We've been on here for quite a while already. It's like you blink and time is running up.
I love talking books.
Now, you've already answered this. I was going to ask you if there's any indie authors or books you've championed that you're especially proud of, but you've already talked about quite a few.
I have, and I've got plenty. I could go down a quick list. Casey Evans is one that I really enjoy. He's got his books that the juxtaposition books, which I know that sounds like a lot, the legacy we embrace. And then he also has Vodka Platonic that's out. That one is so much fun. It's a lot of banter. There's romantic undertones, but it's more contemporary fiction.
Okay.
So that's a fun one. Sarah Ennis, who writes The Dollhouse, she has a whole series, and I happen to have that series. And her books, the Dollhouse, I've sold out of 3 times now, I think.
Oh, wow.
So, and I don't have a lot of room. So when I say that, please bear in mind, I only order like 4 at a time because I got to fit everybody in. But yeah, I sell out of her books very quickly. So there's quite a few authors that are doing very well. That I just, they do great. And of course, Donna, I just talked about one of your books with somebody the other day. They stopped in and they were taking a look at it. And she's got a book club that she runs with her daughter and her daughter-in-law and one of her best friends. And so they were looking for recommendations. They didn't buy anything, but they did stop in and were asking about recommendations. And I said, oh, let me show you this book here. And I explained how it interconnects with your Orlinda Valley series and how you've got the novellas and everything. And so, I don't always sell books, but people come back for them. So that's what matters. Go. Yeah.
That's good. Let's talk to other people who might be wanting to start a mobile bookshop. What are some?
There's a lot of them out there.
There are some, but I mean, you figure a mobile bookshop compared to a brick and mortar where you're stuck.
Yeah.
So it's great. What are some tips you wish you knew?
Oh gosh. Gosh, that's a great question. I think one of the biggest things that I wish that I understood the most was that not everybody's going to want you. Not everybody's going to want a trailer. And you're going to be excited about it because I was excited about it. I thought everybody that reads is going to want it, but not everybody does. They don't want the generator sounds. They don't want, those kinds of things. I've been very lucky for the most part that most people are excited to have me there, but some people are like, we don't know that it's a trailer. It's big. So, be prepared to not always fit a vibe and be okay with that because you're going to find the people that do want you and you're going to find your vibe. And those are going to be the people that are going to be incredibly supportive. I think the other thing is just to expect the unexpected. Like I said, I have the tension rods that are up here, and unfortunately, I had one tension rod fail. I do put 2 per shelf, but I had one fail, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I had some glass mugs that I had stacked one on top of the other in boxes. They were wrapped up well, but because the one came off, right, the books were protected, and the glass on the bottom was protected from that bottom tension rod. But I opened the back, and there was glass everywhere.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I opened back doors, and they were just everywhere. So. Yeah, that's tough. But it is a lot of stop and go in the beginning, setting up the business. So don't lose steam because it's not always fun. It's not always fun doing the paperwork and the back end stuff. So just hold on to the excitement that you feel every time you open the doors and get to talk about your passion and talk about books and see people who enjoy the feedback.
Very good. Well, where can people find you in person? Where are you going to be the next few months? And if they're not in Florida, how can we find you?
So right now, I do not have an online store. I'm just out of Florida. And that said, if somebody truly wants me to ship them something, I can work something out. But again, time constraints, it's just too difficult to keep up with. Right. So as a whole, I can ship. you got to reach out to me first, though. In Florida, every Sunday, just about every Sunday, I'm set up at History Park in Punta Gorda. I say just about because here in a couple weeks is my grandson's first birthday, and so I will be going to Alabama for his first birthday, so I won't be here at all that weekend.
Well, fun.
But you can see that stuff on my website. I also try to pin it at the top of my TikTok. This Saturday, you probably won't even have this out by then, will you?
No.
Let's see here. I've got Pilgrim. So this Saturday, from the time that this actually recording comes out, I'll be at Pilgrim Church in Deep Creek, which is the Punta Gorda area. And that is an indoor event. I will be outside with the trailer.
I was going to say, are you driving inside?
No, it will be indoor for the other vendors. So in this hot Florida weather, if you want to shop around a market, that's going to be where you're going to want to go. And
you're air conditioned though, right?
I am air conditioned. And I do have a plastic sheeting that comes down, and it has a magnetic closure in the middle, so it easily opens and closes. To me, it looks uninviting. It's just something I have to contend with to keep the air and the moisture out. So
right.
Yeah. So if you see it, I am open. Just open those two magnets. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Well, is there anything else you want people to know? Well, on all the socials, what are you on? What's your name on all the socials?
So Breezy Bookshop across the board, whether it's Breezy_Bookshop or Breezy.Bookshop, it'll still be my logo, my logo, because boy, I can't talk, which is a little blue logo.
You have a picture of it that you can show us?
I don't have a picture of it. I should. I know I'm feeling. I have a banner, but it's stuck. It's
well, you know what? When we put this on YouTube. Yeah. And then on all the places, we'll make sure your logo is on the front.
Perfect. Yeah, you'll see that logo if you search Breezy Bookshop. So I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Perfect.
And then my newsletter. I should probably mention that.
Yes, you should mention it. Go ahead.
Yes, breezybookshop.com, and sign up for my newsletter because I do offer different discounts and different things that I'm involved in there. So
awesome. Well, Vanessa, thank you. It was great talking with you. I enjoyed this.
This was a lot of fun.
If I'm ever in Southwest Florida, I will look you up.
You should be here. It's beautiful.
I'll let you know I'm coming.
Awesome. So, thank you, Donna.
Do you ever, like, at any of your weekend things, do you ever offer author signings?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So, yes, I will be. This is a small space to work in, so I don't currently have a space inside the trailer for a author to set up unless they want to, sit on the bench, which isn't always comfortable the whole time. Once it starts cooling off a little bit, usually about October here, I'll be able to have a space and have author signings where, people aren't melting. That said, I do in July have an author coming to Celtic Ray in Punta Gorda for a nighttime market, so it'll be a little cooler without the air blasting on her. I also am passionate about animal rescue, so a portion of my proceeds go to animal rescue. That's why she reached out to me.
Yes, that's a note I had because I saw that on TikTok.
Yes.
So discuss that real quick.
Yeah, so the reason I have Breezy Bookshop is because my corgi, Bree, she came from a bad breeder. She had been bred twice before she was 2 years old and had 2 C-sections. Both of them were C-sections. So why you would put a dog through 2 C-sections, I don't know. But when she came to me, she was a mess. She was terrified of everything. So she's come a long way. And so a portion of my proceeds go to the Animal Welfare League of Charlotte County. It's the only no-kill shelter in Charlotte County. And so, so I had an author who did reach out to me, and I haven't announced her yet. But go sign up for my newsletter and look at the things, because we've got to make sure that we're solid before she gets there. But she has a foster dog that she asked if I could help get more coverage, and so she's going to come out to that event and bring him and sign her books.
Awesome. So people can not just go to you and purchase great books, support indie authors, but they're also supporting a great charity and helping pets. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome.
Thanks.
Well, now this will be the end. Vanessa, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
I think because all my notes are done, all those notes are done. Thank you for talking with me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. This was so much fun.
It was.
It really was.
You know what? Maybe next year, if something big happens, let me know and we'll have you back on.
I would love that. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We'll talk to you later.
Awesome. Bye.
Right. Bye, everybody. Thank you for being with me on Books, Banter, and Beyond, the podcast for readers, writers, and all things bookish. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. I look forward to seeing you again next week, and until then, grab a good book and happy reading.